Wow, we got a chunk of more interesting decks coming out of events for you guys. Trust me, we're going to be doing deck profiles up through next week, all for this new format, because there's been a lot of spicy decks. So, first one we're going to be looking at is a winning deck list out of, I believe, Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe it was the Dominican. It was one of the two. But this was a winning regional list, and I was like, oh man, heroes. So here we go. More love to people meaning Nibru. I've read some comments for people like people are dumb for meaning triple Nibru. I'm like, what? Like, guys, stop. Like, this is good. Alright? Let people main them. That's the reason why they're winning. So we have one copy of the Destiny Hero Celestial, one copy of the Draha Wand, Mr. Quick Draw McGraw. We have one Dynatag, two copies of Malicious, one Honest Neos, two copies of Shadow Mist, two copies of the Solid Soldier, it's pretty solid, two Stratos, triple copies of Nibiru, two copies of Fardis, two copies of Increase, and two copies of Vion. Only interesting to see a 2-2 split on these. It's definitely a little bit more, I guess, diverse than I thought it would be. We have triple copies of Called by the Grave, two copies of Emergency Call, triple copies of the Fusion of Destiny, triple Mash Change, one Monster Reborn, one Polymerization, one Rhoda, triple Super Polymerization. Man, all the polys here. We have the two copies of Twin Twister. Down here in the extract, we have two copies of Dread Decimator, triple copies of Cross Crusader, one Lambda, one copy of the Trinity, one Adoration, one Starving Venom, one Violet Chimera, one Dion, two Darklaw, one Anki, and one copy of Dystopia. Side deck here we have two copies of Dimension Shifter. Somebody was asking if they thought that this card was worth to buy out. I don't know. But if there are no cards in your graveyard, quick effect, send this card from hand to the graveyard. Till the end of the turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. We have two copies of Pankratops, two copies of Phantasmi, one Dragostopalia, two Dark Ruler No More, two Anti-Spell Fragments, one of Pure Order, and triple copies of, you guessed it, Red Reboot, wrapping up another hero deck list for everybody. Honestly, though, the things that heroes really bring to the metagame as of late, it's not a bad thing. Diversity is very key to the current format, and we are going to continue to like to see more heroes. It's almost like this is a rogue story. Seeing this deck top every other blue moon, it shouldn't shock you guys at this point. Next up, we have Madolche, and this is Madolche not playing Pot of Extravagance. I think that's one of the coolest things about this list, is instead we've opted to go down like more of a super polymerization anti-meta approach. And I don't know, I honestly thought we'd continue to play Pot of Extravagance, but it's less space that you have to dedicate and more super poly targets you can actually main deck. So, we have one copy of Thine Pudding, two copies of Messengelada, triple copies of the Puting Susior, triple copies of Mageline, triple copies of Angeli, only two copies of the Hoot Hoot Don't Pollute, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and the triple copies of Effect Veiler. A pretty solid monster lineup. I don't see anything too crazy here. Everything looks pretty spot on for what you'd expect for this deck. We have triple copies of Called by the Grave, triple copies of Super Polymerization, and one Ticket and one Chateau. If you're trying to play more of these, I think you're doing it wrong. Just my 2 cents. Like, the 1-1 split on these has been perfectly fine. We have the triple copies of Infinite Impermanence, triple copies of Solemn Steelreich, and triple copies of Solemn Judgment, wrapping up the main deck here. Extra deck here we have 2 copies of Fresh to Start. This card's not very good, but it does enough for what we want for the deck. We have one Cerberus, one Phoenix, one Gaga Cowboy, 2 Glass Follet, 2 copies of the Queen Tiaramisu, and 2 copies of Shock Lalamode. Down here in the extract, we have 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Diplexer Chimera, 1 Dragostopalia, and 1 copy of the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon himself. Side deck here, we have triple copies of Pankratops, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, Cold Wave on legs, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, triple copies of Evenly Matched, and triple copies of Red Reboot, wrapping this up. Well, evidently you can top 8 a regional without having to adapt and play things like Cold Wave. I think that's very good. And, you know, shout out to Dead Draw, SYA, for getting up the original source for this. Definitely important for that. But yeah, this coming off the Winnipeg Regional top 8, which is pretty spicy. Next up, oh man, really, ABC? Yeah, there's like an inner dialogue there. So, Dead Draw SYA, this made top 4 out of the Winnipeg Regional this past weekend, and here's what I want to say about this. This is the second top of this last couple of weeks I've seen out of ABC. Maybe, Dragon Buster is pretty good right now. You guys also remember when we were literally just complaining about this card not even a couple days ago? And yet, here we are again, just looking at this good card. While this card is very good in more floodgate situations, we've actually managed to fix some of the metagame here. So, we have 1 copy of the Psyframe Driver. Hey, it's our vanilla target. We have triple copies of A Assault Core, 2 copies of Gold Gadget, triple copies of B Buster Drake, 2 copies of the Silver Gadget, triple copies of C Crush Wyvern, triple copies of Ash Blossom, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, the Yield triple copies of Gamma, 1 copy of Turbo Booster. So if you normal summon a monster this turn, you can also summon this card from hand. You can tribute this card to destroy 1 monster your opponent controls that battled 1 of your monsters this turn. This is just literally a machine extender, actually. As long as you've normal summoned a monster this turn, you get to go ahead and extend with this guy. That's pretty cute. We have 1 copy of Effect Veiler. Down here in the spells, we have 1 card Destruction, 1 copy of Terraforming, triple copies of Called by the Grave, 1 copy of Twin Twister. Oh boy, here we go again. Triple copies of Super Polymerization for 1 extra dead target, by the way. 1 set rotation, triple copies of Union Hanger, 1 copy of the Mystic Mine, and down here in the traps, we have triple Torrential Tribute, 1 Metaverse, and 1 copy of the Skill Drain. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Clara and Rushka, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Platinum Gadget, 1 Cleafort Genius, 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, 1 Decode Talker, 1 Saruja, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Boralode, 1 copy of Tsukiyomi, 1 Starving Venom, and triple copies of ABC Dragon Turd. Side deck here we have 1 Gamma Steel, 1 copy of Radion, 2 copies of Pankratops, 1 Sticky Strings, triple Inspector Border, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Interrupt Kaiju Slumber, 2 Twin Twister, and triple copies of, you guessed it, more back row hate. Thanks, anti-pendulum cards. So, we have this list coming out of, like I said, the same regional, actually. Like, what a rogue top cut. ABC and Madolche. Interesting. Now, that being said, we have our last list for this video, which is actually going to be Burning Abyss. This is top 16 coming out of the Brooklyn Regional, actually, and this was Burning Abyss. And this was really interesting. Sekka BA, especially walking into a format like this, I don't know, there's just kind of something about Burning Abyss and Sekka that just, I don't know, it's really good. So 1 copy of Alich, 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 1 copy of Barbar, 1 Blackwing Steam the Cloak, 2 copies of Calcab, 1 copy of Seer, 2 copies of Nessie, 2 Jackalope, and 2 copies of Sneck, 2 Destrudo, 1 Edge Imp Sabers. Place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck. That's pretty good. And then we have 2 Farfa, 2 copies of Fiendish Rhino, triple copies of Gallus the Starbeast, 2 Ghost Ogre, 1 Gizmek, 1 Glowbulb, 1 Graph, 1 Libic, 1 Mermare, 2 copies of Mathman, 1 Olion, 1 Psychic Tracker, 2 copies of Scarm, 1 Sea Archiver, and 1 Tour Guide. Spells, we have triple Sekka's Light, literally wrapping up the main deck, like, turbo draw power. Extra deck here, we have 1 Underclock, 1 Abramax, 1 Link Kribo, 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, 1 Cherubini, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Appaloosa, 1 Number 75, 1 Dante, and the 1 Beatrice. Synchros, we have 1 Yazi, 1 Herald, and the 1 copy of Dawn Dragster. The Mermare Abuse. Side deck here we have 1 Gamma Steel, triple Jinzo Man, 1 Kumomungus, 1 Radion, triple copies of Spell Canceller, triple Sphere Mode, and triple copies of just Vanity's Fiend. Wrapping up the Brooklyn Top Cut list from @Spectre8K, sharing the original source with this for everybody. So guys, what do you think about these deck lists? Very interesting. Rogue is doing phenomenal this week. Like, I'm in love with these decks, quite honestly. But what do you guys think about these decks? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about these decks. And well, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out, duelist. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out VanCole40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.